What's good, YouTube? As I drive home, I just want to talk about one thing. This is why we can't use the nature argument to defend homosexual behavior. I know a lot of people that may watch this may not identify as Christian. That's fine. You don't have to. I'm not gonna tell you how to live your life. But as a Christian, I know that God created man, and from man, He created a woman. He joined them together in marriage, and then they produced children from that marriage context. So that the only sexual behavior that is permitted by God is in a marriage covenant. So any sexual behavior outside of marriage is wrong. And then on top of that, when Jesus was asked by the Pharisees about divorce in the Mosaic law, Jesus said when they were formed male and female, and they were joined together, and what God hath joined together, let no man put asunder. So we can't make rules for marriage as human beings. So ultimately, the world standard of what they call marriage now versus what it's always been two individuals of opposite sexes, opposite genders, complementary parts in creating and procreating. Nowadays, they try to influence you to believe that same-sex marriages are adequate, but in the grand scheme, that's a false narrative. Now, I'm not here to bash anybody based on their preferences or anything like that, their lifestyle choices. Do what you want to do. All sin is sin. I sin every day. But ultimately, I know my Redeemer. And in knowing my Redeemer, I don't choose to live in sin. I just know that I am sin. I still sin. I'm not a perfect human being, obviously. But there's still a choice to be made. But when people say it's not natural for same-sex attraction, and then people try to argue by saying, oh, well, dogs can, try to hump another male dog, or, they try to use some case of some animal doing something with the same sex, but that doesn't normalize it. Amphibians, some types of frogs can literally change their gender without reconstructive surgery, without hormones being taken. They can change their gender need be if they recognize that there's too many of one gender in the spawn, or where they're spawning. Male seahorses carry the young. Once the female gets pregnant, she places the young inside of the male. We don't do that as human beings. We don't change genders as human beings naturally through our biology as the frogs do. And I would give some more examples. Okay, some female dogs, when they have puppies, this is not related to sexual behavior, but this just goes to prove that we can't compare humans' natural choices to animals. Some dogs, or there's a lot of animals that when they have babies, they choose to eat them after they've just had them. They can reject the litter. I've seen mice do it. I've seen dogs do it. So would it be normal, or would it be natural? Could we argue that a woman who just had a young child, if she ate her child, we don't arrest her for being a psychopath, murderer. We just instead accept her and say, okay, that behavior happens in nature, therefore it is natural. Or because bigger animals attack smaller animals in general, bigger people get a leeway to attack smaller people because it happens in nature. No, that does not excuse it or make the behavior natural for humans still. What makes a behavior natural for humans is if it successfully helps in just society, not emotionally. So if humans are exercising and maintaining themselves, that's naturally going to help them sustain a better life and live in a healthier way. If we're sitting on the couch all day, eating junk food all day, that's not a natural choice for a human, because humans wouldn't be able to sustain a life of a human being. Like, I know y'all have seen the examples of like the 600-pound people, 800-pound people, like, miserable in their bodies because they can't function as a human being. But then there's rhinos and hippos who walk around 800 pounds, can charge you 30 miles per hour. Like, we can't always try to compare or equate humans' behavior to animals because we aren't animals. We are separated from animals. We have dominion over all animals. So that's just some food for thought. Um, and that's all I had to say. So y'all have a good night. Bye.